Professor Zal'vex had taught xenobiology for 47 cycles and never once had a demonstration gone wrong. Until today, the containment field flickered, then died with a sound like tearing fabric. The Ravager, 3 tons of muscle, claws, and predatory instinct from the death world across. 9. Stood frozen for exactly half a second. Then it moved. The lecture hall erupted into chaos. 200 students from a dozen species scrambled for exits, their survival instincts screaming the same message: run. The Ravager was Apex, engineered by evolution to kill anything that breathed. Its roar split the air, a sound that triggered primal terror in every sentient species in known space. Every species except one. Dr. Sarah Chen, the human xenobiologist on academic exchange, didn't move from her seat in the front row. She sat there, datapad still in hand, and looked at the beast with an expression Professor Zal'vex couldn't quite identify. Not fear, not even surprise. Something else entirely. The Ravager's charge was devastating. It covered 15 meters in less than 2 seconds, claws extended, jaws open wide enough to swallow a Kryllian whole. It was aimed directly at the human. Sarah Chen set down her datapad carefully. She stood up slowly, and then she did something that would be replayed in academic circles for years to come. She spread her arms wide and screamed back. The sound that came from the small human female wasn't words. It was pure, unfiltered aggression, a challenge that echoed off the walls with shocking volume. Her face contorted into something savage, teeth bared, eyes locked onto the charging predator with an intensity that seemed to warp the air itself. The Ravager stopped. Not slowed. Stopped. Its claws dug furrows in the floor as it skidded to a halt 3 meters from a human. Its head tilted, confusion evident in its 6 eyes. This wasn't how prey behaved. Prey ran. Prey cowered. Prey died. This was something different. Sarah took a step forward. The Ravager took a step back. "You don't want this," Sarah said, her voice dropping to something low and dangerous. "Trust me, you really don't." She took another step. The beast's ears flattened against its skull, a defensive posture Professor Zal'vex had never seen in a Ravager. Its tail, usually held high in dominance, lowered incrementally. "I've stared down grizzly bears, bull elephants, and great white sharks," Sarah continued, still advancing. "My species didn't claw our way to the top of Earth's food chain by being polite about it." The Ravager's roar this time was different, uncertain, almost questioning. Sarah matched it with another shout, stepping forward again. The beast retreated, its massive body suddenly seeming less imposing, more confused. Security forces burst through the doors, weapons raised. Professor Zal'vex held up a hand, stopping them. Everyone watched in stunned silence as the human female walked the apex predator backward, step by step, through sheer force of will and a complete absence of fear. When the beast's back hit the wall, Sarah stopped. "Good," she said, her voice returning to normal, though her posture remained dominant. "Now sit." The Ravager, impossibly, lowered its haunches. "Fascinating," Sarah murmured, pulling out a scanner from her pocket. "Completely casual now. Fight or flight response overridden by display of superior aggression. Professor Zal'vex, we should probably add this to the lecture notes." She turned back to the class, or what remained of it, those brave enough to peer back through the doorways. "This is a perfect example of what we discussed last week. Predator-prey dynamics aren't about size or strength. They're about confidence and commitment." Professor Zal'vex found his voice, though it came out as a rasp. "Dr. Chen, how did you what just—" Sarah shrugged, finally allowing herself a small smile. "Earth's a death world, Professor. Class, 12 on the hazard scale. Remember? You grow up there, you learn pretty fast that everything's a threat. The trick isn't being the biggest or strongest." She glanced back at the Ravager, which was now watching her with something approaching wary respect. "The trick is being the craziest thing in the room." She walked calmly back to her seat and picked up her datapad. "Now, shall we continue the lesson? I believe we were discussing neural response patterns in predatory species." The Ravager remained sitting against the wall until security tranquilized it. Professor Zal'vex noticed it never took its eyes off the human, not in hunger, in recognition, one apex predator acknowledging another.